So rectum and anal canal. Fine. So what is the rectum? It is the distal part of the large gut, that is large intestine. It is placed between the sigmoid colon above and anal canal below. It is called in the anteroposterior direction and also from side to side. Okay. So what is the location of this? The rectum is situated in the posterior part of the lesser pelvis, in front of the lower three pieces of the sacrum. As you know, there are the five segments of the sacrum, S1 to S5. So it is lower three, that is 3, 4, and 5 segment. It is located and on the coccyx, and its extent is from the rectum is beginning as a continuation of the sigmoid colon at the level of third sacral vertebra. Okay, and it ends by the becoming continuation with the anal canal at anorectal junction. The dimensions are 12 centimeter long. In its upper part, it has the same diameter of 4 centimeter as that of the sigmoid colon. But in the lower part, it is dilated to form the rectal ampulla. Okay, so got it. Wherever you get the dilatation of the gut, so it is named as the ampulla. Like in the duodenum, it was duodenal ampulla. Here it is rectal ampulla. Okay. Now we'll see the course and direction. The beginning and the end of the rectum lies in median plane. Okay, but it shows two types of the curvature as we seen in previous slide. That is anteroposterior and lateral. So there are two anteroposterior curves, the sacral flexure and the perineal flexure. The sacral flexure is following the concavity of the sacrum. Okay, so sacrum is convex backward, okay, and concave forward. The perineal flexure of the rectum is the backward bend at the anorectal junction, means it is convex anteriorly here. You can see this is the lateral view of the pelvis in the male. So you can see on your left side the urinary bladder with prostate gland and the urethra. Okay, above the blue color is the light blue is the peritoneal cavity with the peritoneal membrane lined by that, and posterior to this urinary bladder, that is on your right side, the lower three segment of the sacral bone and the coccyx, and anterior to that, that is between bladder and the sacrum, the rectum. You can see from the side the anteroposterior curve. The upper curve is convex posterior, concave anterior, and lower curve is convex anterior and concave posterior. That is the anorectal junction. Okay, you can see here the rectovesical pouch. That is the part or extension of the peritoneal cavity between bladder and the rectum, known as the rectovesical pouch. Okay. So again, here you can see the body curve, anteroposterior and the lateral curve. Here we will see on the right of your, this diagram is taken from anterior or from the posterior, so you can see the lateral curve side to side. So in the upper part, it is the upper right curve. In the middle, it is the middle left curve, and in the left lower part, again right curve is there. Okay, so this curve you are seeing. So opposite to each curve, there is the on the concave side, there is the rectal mucosal fold in the lumen. So we'll later see later on how is it looking. Okay, so we have seen already the three lateral curve. Now we'll see the relation. So peritoneal relation to upper 1/3. Peritoneal relation means which part of the rectum is covered by the peritoneum and which is not. That is their area. So upper 1/3 of the rectum is covered with peritoneum in front and on the side. It is not covered on its posterior surface because it is in direct contact with the sacrum. Okay. In the middle 1/3, it is covered only in front, and in the lower 1/3, which is dilated in the form of the rectal ampulla, is not having any peritoneum or peritoneal covering. Okay, so in the upper part, that is upper third, and the front and the sides. In the middle, one third only front is covered, and lower one third no peritoneal relation. Now the organs related to the this rectum. So in male we see the anteriorly the upper two-third of the rectum is related to the rectovesical pouch, as I have shown you in the previous slides. Okay, so in that rectovesical pouch, the small intestinal coil, mostly the ileum, will lie in that pouch along with the sigmoid colon. The lower one third of the rectum is related to the base of urinary bladder. So you can see here in this diagram. Okay, the lower one third is related to the middle third related to the bladder. Okay, terminal part of the ureter and the seminal vesicle and different duct and the prostate in the lower one third. Anteriorly, now in female, the upper two third of the rectum are related to the rectouterine pouch. Like in male, between bladder and the rectum, there is the rectovesical pouch. Okay, like the same in female, when the uterus is coming in between bladder and the rectum, so between uterus and the rectum, there is the rectouterine pouch. Okay, with the coil of same structure, that is intestine, that is small intestine, and the sigmoid colon. And the lower one third of the rectum is related to lower part of the vagina. So posterior relation is the same in the male and female, obviously. So lower three pieces of the sacrum, coccyx, as we have seen, along with the anococcygeal ligament, piriformis muscle, okay, the coccygeus and the levator ani muscle, median sacral and the superior rectal and the lower lateral sacral vessels. Okay, these all are the vessels, arteries, and sympathetic chain with ganglion impar. Okay, ganglion impar means both the sympathetic chain in front of sacral bone unite to form a single ganglion known as the ganglion impar in median plane. Okay, and the anterior primary rami of the S3, 4, S5 coccygeal nerve and the pelvic is splanchnic nerve. So interiorly, there is the mucosal fold. Okay, so there are the transitional longitudinal folds. Okay, and there are the transverse or the horizontal fold which are permanent. So first transverse fold is small, which is lying near the upper end of the rectum. The second transverse fold, which is largest, projecting from the anterior and the right wall. And the third transverse mucosal fold is inconstant, which is lying 2.5 centimeter below the second fold and project from the left wall. Got it? So there are the three curves, lateral curves. Likewise, there are three mucosal folds. So you can see that interior of this rectum in the longitudinal section and in transverse section, or in the not transverse section but view from inner side. You can see how the transverse folds are there. The first transverse fold coming from left, which is smaller in projection. Second is being seen as the largest, coming from the anterior and the right. And again, third transverse fold from the left. It's inconsistent. When you see from above, then you will see that circular lumen, which is interpreted by this mucosal fold. Okay. The blood supply, the superior rectal artery and the middle rectal artery and the median sacral arteries are supplying. So superior and the middle rectal arteries coming from the superior coming from the inferior mesenteric artery and middle coming from the internal iliac artery. The venous drainage is from the superior rectal, middle rectal and the median sacral vein. The superior rectal vein and medial rectal vein are having the portosystemic anastomosis or portocaval anastomosis. Lymphatic drainage is from upper half rectum pass along the superior rectal vessel to the inferior mesenteric node. Okay, and lymphatic from the lower half of the rectum pass along the middle rectal vessel to the internal iliac node. The same because they are carried by the lymphatics are carried along the vessels. The upper part is carrying the vessel toward the inferior mesenteric artery. Therefore, inferior mesenteric node, and the lower half is getting the blood supply from the internal iliac artery. Therefore, lymph node is present in the internal iliac group of the nodes. And the lower part of the anal and canal drain into the superficial inguinal node. So we'll see later on anal canal. So these are the blood supply. So we can see how the portocaval anastomosis is taking place in this schematic diagram. Okay, you can see the superior rectal artery which is anastomosing with the inferior rectal artery. Inferior rectal artery is derived from the internal iliac. Okay, this is a lymphatic drainage following the passage of the blood vessels. No supply. So sympathetic, parasympathetic are from L1, L2 and the sacral plexus for the parasympathetic. And the sympathetic nodes are vasoconstrictor, inhibitory to the rectal musculature and motor to the internal sphincter, because sympathetic is the nerve of retention. Fine. Therefore, it is acting on the sphincter, internal sphincter, that is involuntary muscles are there, smooth muscles. The parasympathetic nerve, these are the evacuating nerve. So therefore, they are acting on the musculature of the rectum and inhibitory to sphincter. So sensation of the distension, okay, for the defecation of the rectum pass through the parasympathetic nerve. That is, it is proprioceptive for that. And the support of the rectum, so floor, the pelvic floor is formed by the levator ana muscle. So by the side of the rectum, the levator ana muscle is passing to supporting it, so that it should not prolapse out of the anal canal. Okay, and the fascia of the Walder is that which is attached to the lower part of the rectal ampulla to the sacrum. And there are the lateral ligaments of the rectum, which are the condensation of the pelvic fascia on each side of the rectum attached to the lateral pelvic wall. And the rectovesical fascia of the denonvillus, very important, which is extending from the rectum behind to the seminal vesicle and prostate in front. Means it is present in male. Okay, the pelvic peritoneum, so these are the weaker support, and the perineal body with its all the muscles attached to perineal body. So applied aspect, digital PR, that is per rectum examination. In normal person, the following structure can be palpated through the per rectal examination. In male, we can palpate the posterior surface of the prostate gland. I already told you in the prostate PPT, the seminal vesicles and the vas deferens. So any abnormal swelling over there, we can feel through the rectal examination on the anterior surface of the rectum. In female, the perineal body, cervix, the presenting part of the fetus during the delivery can be palpated. And in both structures which are common are the anorectal ring, coccus, sacrum, ischiocanal fossa, and ischial spines. Okay, ischial spine, why is it paired? Because ischial spine is the shortest, having the shortest distance between the ischial spine for the passage, outward passage of the baby during the delivery. Okay, so if there is a mismatch between the dimension of the head of the baby, who is being delivered, and the ischial spine, so we can see, measure the dimension, the distance between the ischial spine, and we can calculate that if there is any cephalopelvic disproportion, that is CPD. Okay, So it helps to manage the delivery of the baby. If the normal delivery can be taken, or it will require surgical delivery, that is cesarean section. Okay. Then proctoscopy and the sigmoidoscopy. What is the proctoscopy? There is the proctoscope. It is the probe which can be passed through the anal canal and the rectum, and we can see through that directly. And the sigmoidoscopy. The sigmoidoscopy is the endoscope which can be passed through the rectum, and then we can reach to the sigmoid. Okay, the sigmoid colon, and we can examine the interior of the rectum also and the sigmoid also. Prolapse of the rectum. Okay, if there is the weaker support from the external side, then there may be the prolapse of the rectum, which mucosal pore, that mucosa interior can be prolapsed through the anal canal, and it can probe out, so it can be incomplete or whole mucosal prolapse. CA of the rectum. Okay, so this is also common in some area. And the rectal incontinence. Okay, so rectal continence depends solely on the anorectal ring, and if the anorectal ring is damaged, then it can lead to the rectal incontinence. So this is the diagram for digital PR for rectal examination. Okay. So it is more common practice for the prostatomegaly. The elder person who are being affected more with the benign hypertrophy of the prostate gland. Okay, so they can be examined through the digital PR. Okay, but nowadays the ultrasound can detect the size of the prostate gland, so we can do directly sonography. But it is the previously used technique.